Hi, I'm Dana Wilkos, Health Literacy Educator for the New Orleans Public Library. I am so excited today to bring you this virtual version of our How Do You Cook Dat cooking class in partnership with Broadmoor Food Association and Xavier University. Today, Dr. William Kirchain, Director of Xavier's College of Pharmacy Health and Wellness Center, will be showing you two simple healthy recipes using ingredients from Broadmoor Improvement Association's weekly food pantry.
Welcome to our cooking class here with Broadmoor Improvement Association. This is Ariel Brown, who's going to be helping me today with this recipe that she actually helped originate here. Ariel's in her last year of the Doctor of Pharmacy program over at Xavier. What are we doing today?
Making Tex-Mex hash.
Tex-Mex hash, okay. Our ingredients that we had to work with were fajita strips, potatoes, and cheese. So that's going to be our primary thing that we put together here. Add a few spices to it. We're also going to do a second version of this, which is the same recipe with a little bit of vegetable added into it. Now, the vegetable is not in our box this week, but these are seasonal vegetables that are available for usually around $1, maybe $2 for the amount that we're going to be using. The recipe here for the hash, and with most hashes, starts with some kind of starch. We're going to use some potatoes here. The first thing I'm going to do here is just make a couple of flat sides on the potatoes. And that's so that the potato doesn't move around when I'm cutting it. We're going to go through and very carefully kind of slice down in one direction here. And I'm going to come back and notice that I have my hand cocked with my fingers holding the potato down at the tips over here, and we move back, and that does help guide the knife as I move through, but no fingers are cut, and this isn't a finger hash, so we don't want any of that to go on. I'm going to take them and put them back into the paper bowl here. And I like to hit the potatoes a minute or two in the microwave to soften them up before we put them in the pan. All right, so here are our potatoes, and I'm going to take a minute to add some spice to the potatoes. I have some paprika, about a teaspoonful. I have just a tiny amount of cumin, a tiny amount of onion and garlic powder, and I'm just going to swirl those together real quick. And I'll let you guys have a look. You can see, I'm just going to put these in here, get out a spoon, just because the potatoes are hot. You can see that basically it's about 50-50 amount of chicken to the amount of potatoes. Okay, so now we're just going to take the fajita meat here, the fajita strips, and of course they're already seasoned. And you notice that I didn't put any salt in with the potato. That's because there's already plenty of salt in the fajita meat. This, because it's nice and soft, I'm just going to give a rough cut to here as we go around. I'm just going to throw this back in here to make it easy to handle. All right, we have a very hot pan going on here. We'll throw some olive oil in there, and we're going to put our potatoes in, okay, and just let them go. And because we're going to do two versions, I'm going to take about half the potatoes. I'm going to put them over here in this pan. While she's stirring, I'm just going to grate some cheese here to go over the whole thing at the end. So while this is all cooking and heating up here, I'm going to deal with our greens. These are actually turnip greens here. Now, you can use the whole parts of these. Today I'm just going to use the green part. These have a nice little spicy type of flavor to it that'll add to it. Notice that I've just taken them and rolled them up. I'm going to put my fingers in that same position here. I want to cut them fairly thin. So I'm just going to go along with the knife and making kind of a rolling motion here with these and walking my fingers down to hold on to it. that helps you get the most out of the cut there when you're doing this. And now just one to make it a little bit smaller. All right, so I'm going to take half of the fajita meat and put it in this one, half over here. And you see we're getting some really nice colors all around here. The potatoes are getting brown. The meat's getting heated up there. For our alternative version, we're going to throw in our greens there. This will take a couple minutes. Go ahead and toss everything together there. Notice I have a little bit of water. Deglaze the pan a little bit and get some of that goodness back up into what we're going to eat. All right, so we're just going to throw our cheese, and we have our Tex-Mex hash ready to eat. Okay, so our serving size is based on, this is right here. So you can see that Ariel is holding in her hand, this is a food model of what one serving of potatoes is supposed to be. Essentially, those 3 little boiled potatoes there that she's holding in her hand is equal to 1 piece of bread in terms of your total carbs. So we have a 1 cup serving of our hash here, all concentrated here with the cheese and everything without the veg, is right about 2 servings of carb. Even with the cheese on all that, it's less than 4 grams of total fat in 1 cup. The thing that we're trying to balance with this, we do have some carb, but we have been able to lower the saturated fat. Once you've added the turnip greens in here, we actually, because the turnip greens are going to take up some of the space in that serving, we've actually lowered the net carbs around 15-20 grams. And that will also impact the fat. It'll shave about 1 gram of that total fat off of it. So the sodium here, you're really going to, a serving of this, you're going to hit somewhere in that 400 or 500 milligram range, which is kind of where you're maxing out with your salt there for a particular meal. So if you're going to add anything else to the meal, a little salad or something like that, you're going to probably have to watch salt in some of your other meals for the rest of the day with this. But this is, 500 is not extreme, but this may be one of the saltier meals for the day. Our second dish is a dessert, and the package that has yogurts in it of various flavors. It has some oranges, it has some canned pears, it has some grapes. So we're going to throw together a summer fruit fun dessert here that Jasmine came up with.
All right, so basically for this summer fruit fun, we have some low-fat or no-fat yogurt and some fruit and cereals to top it off with. This is a serving size for some grapes right here. This is a serving size for oranges. And this is the serving size for a pear.
So we're going to start off with our grapes, and we want 6 or so grapes. Grapes are, of all the different fruits that we typically have, grapes can be the most problematic because they're really the most filled with simple sugars. And so this is the one that we have to pay attention to, the serving size, the most. So usually between 6 to 9 or so grapes is a serving. Now, I'm just going to take them and literally just cut them in half. The next one we're going to tackle is we're going to get just some orange segments here. Get our orange going here. I find it a little bit easier to take the peeling off when I'm going to do segments, to do the peeling off first here. But there's not really a right or a wrong way. I'm going to go through and find the little membranes here. So just going to cut down that little segment, and so that's going to be my marker here. You don't want to try and get too speedy. This is not a race. It's about half an orange. And I'm going to cut these in half again. All right. And now we'll do 1 whole serving of pear. So we have 2 chunks here. Nothing particularly fancy here, just chopping them up. And now for the fun part here, because this is a summer dish, we want to actually get these really, really cold. So we're going to put these in the freezer for probably 10 to 15 minutes, and not to where they get frozen solid, but to where they get really nice and deeply cold. And of course, like everybody else's freezer, we're going to have to make space. So now we wait 10, 15 minutes. Okay, so whatever flavors you want to use and whatever fruits you want to use, that's the right combination.
Then I'll add just a few grapes. Then I'll add a dollop more. All right, and that's it for that one. All right, this is the strawberry one. And we're gonna mix it with oranges. All right, and the last one is a vanilla with the pear.
Now we're just going to put together our little garnish. And it's basically, the garnish is whatever cereal you like, okay? And we take a couple of pieces of the cereal and we throw it on top to give us a little bit of crunchy bit. Here is our super summer fun.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, today. Thank you all for doing this excellent cooking demonstration. I did want to ask, what did everybody learn about here today?
Well, I learned that you don't have to add sodium to everything because a lot of foods already have so much sodium included.
I learned that you can eat healthy, but also eat the things that you like.
I also learned the same thing, that sodium is in a lot of stuff, so I really don't have to add salt.
Thank you again, everybody. For information about Broadmoor Improvement Association, including their events and services, go to broadmoorimprovement.com. Also, please check out nolalibrary.org for more online virtual programs, resources, and information about our summer fun programming. And then Facebook for y'all.
All right, you can like us on Facebook at Xavier Health and Wellness.